Welcome to the pod you're listening to. What the Reality with me, Cashay Roberts, and we're back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. We're talking all things reality TV and reality topics from those BAFTA Awards. What the heck was that? We're going to be talking a little bit also about this VPR. The Met Gala theme was announced, and then I'm getting into the Potomac reunion part 2, Married to Medicine, Summer House. We're just talking about it all because why not? Welcome to the pod you're listening to. What the Reality with me, Cashay Roberts, and we're back for another Toxic Tuesday episode. You guys, Real Housewives of Potomac is back. I feel like it's been so long. Maybe it hasn't. I feel like we talked about the reunion last Toxic Tuesday, but I don't know. It was feeling like it had been a while for some reason. We're talking about Married to Medicine today. We are going to talk about Summer House briefly. And I think the Traitors finale comes out this week. So I do want to just get my thoughts out really quickly because next week, you guys, I will not be here. I will be in Florida. If you're watching me on YouTube, the snow is nonstop where I'm at in the Midwest. It has came back. We got a sneak peek into spring and now it's back. So next week, Toxic Tuesday will not be here. So well, what's the reality on what the reality? Next week will be off. And then we'll come back the following Tuesday because I'm not getting back until literally Tuesday. So yeah, no Toxic Tuesday next week. So I want to get in everything I want to talk about reality show wise, because who knows, maybe the following Tuesday I'll of course wrap up the Potomac reunion because I have to wrap it up, but it'll be delayed. You know what I mean? The commentary will be delayed, even though you can always check out my stuff on TikTok. I'm going to try posting more. I always say this on YouTube reels, my talking heads, but I don't know if I am. I just like to stay on TikTok and that's it. It's like the comfort. I need to start posting on the YouTube though. I know I do, but it is difficult, especially for the people that do listen to me. I know. And then sometimes I do the clips, sometimes I don't do the clips. It depends what my background is. Like I should start posting more clips and stuff again, but whatever. What is going on? We have some reality topics to get into before we get into this TV. Starting off, I just thought we have to talk about literally the BAFTA Awards, which is the British Academy. What is it called? It's the British Academy Film Television Awards. I think I said that right. So, first of all, Sinners won big. Let's just start there, period. Ryan Coogler, won huge directing debut award that has not been won by a Black person. Let's move into the drama, though. And the drama is that I swear, my hair looks gray on screen. I swear it's not gray. Maybe it's my edge control. I don't know. The drama of that night. So basically, Sinners was winning an award, and Michael B. Jordan and Delroy. What's his last name? It's Delroy Lindo. They were presenting an award, and in the middle of that, we hear the N-word shouted. The hard ER word shouted. For some reason, this was not blurred out, whereas Ryan Coogler's actual speech when he said free Palestine was blurred out. BBC made sure to blur that out, but this was not blurred out. This was definitely on full effect. So it was actually blurred out by John Davidson, who apparently has Tourettes. And I say apparently because I swear this has happened in the past. I feel like this is deja vu when there was this woman with Tourette's on social media and she was calling out everybody names in the book or whatever. This man used the N-word. There has been no apology offered to Michael B. Jordan or Delroy Lindo. It was just the most bizarre thing, and the social media response to it, for me, at least I'm on the right side of it, has been, it's just been very strange this Black History Month. It's been really strange. I'm on the right side of social media, as in, like, he should be offering an apology. There still has been no apology, though, offered. They're saying he has Tourette's, but I'm like, just because you have Tourette's doesn't mean you're not racist, right? It doesn't mean that. And it's just like multiple people were presenting, and then at that point you say that, and then we're going to say it's Tourette's. Whatever. It has been a very interesting Black History Month. I genuinely think some things are done on purpose, Tourette's or not. And I think it's very interesting how everyone and their mama now is a Tourette's specialist. That man says he has episodes, though I do believe that. I also believe he is racist. And that's that. My heart goes out to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, because at the end of the day, no matter what, they have to continue on like nothing's happened. Like, even though it's happening to us. Now it's a conversation about Tourette's. What is Tourette's? But it's not even a conversation about racial injustice when it comes to media and film, and how we are always the ones having to just like accept injustice in front of us because we're so lucky to be in this position and be privileged. Like, that's how it's always giving to me. It's always like, this happened to you, but like, you should be happy that you're even in this position. So it's like, honestly, a double sword. Us Black folks, we all shared the same common look when that happened. And hey, I've never felt more a part of a Black community. Never felt more a part of the Black community than when I saw Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo's face expressions. Because honestly, if that was me up there, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I'd be like, and it's just like, it has been a very weird Black History Month. Like, first of all, it's the 100th Black History Month. Because the next time I talk, it won't be February anymore. So first of all, it's the 100th. I feel like we've barely had any political movement, a lot of brands have retracted a lot. Like, I cover a lot of beauty stuff, and I'm working on my newsletter, and I would typically, at least on TikTok, what I'm doing is like spotlighting a lot of like Black owned brands. But last year for my newsletter, when I launched it, I did do like Black owned brands. But this year my newsletter is kind of ran different. My newsletter is on LinkedIn. If you guys don't know, it's What the Beauty. And this year it's more so the most current trends, consumer insights, beauty launches, product launches, PR, what's out there. So it was kind of hard for me to focus just strictly on like Black owned products and stuff. But in terms of like impact, a lot of like corporate houses, like compared to last year, even when I log onto the Sephora and the Ulta app, I'm not even seeing let's celebrate Black History Month. Like, it's very different. The copy, the print, the digital feeds I'm seeing is very different this year. It's almost as if they're trying to erase Black History Month and what a huge acknowledgement 100 years actually is. So I don't know. It's not the vibes. It's not the vibes. And then, of course, this would happen. I don't know. But unfortunately, this man has Tourette's, but he is also a racist. And he says, I hope you guys understand. He has not offered an apology to Michael B. Jordan or to any of the Black viewers. And honestly, BBC is just now offering one after Vanity Fair did a whole expo on them. How are we not censoring this? How is this still, when there's a delay, there's a live delay, time delay for you to catch those instances? Why were we able to hear that? Why wasn't someone in the control room for that? Thoughts. Everyone, the thoughts we all have, it's whatever. It's not whatever, but I don't know what to say, you guys. This is just, at a certain point, I saw this tweet today, and it was like, at a certain point, you literally have to say F everyone and put on a Disney Channel movie. So the Disney Channel movie I will be watching will probably be Cheetah Girls or Princess Diaries. I think I'm in that mood. That's the type of mood I'm in. Let's move on to some other favorable news. Met Gala. The theme has been announced as Fashion is Art. We know that Beyonce is a co-chair, of course, along with Venus Williams. Who else was on there? Someone else was on there that I was like, okay, period. Fashion is Art. It's Beyonce. Like, she's a co-chair. Beyonce, this is gonna be amazing. I'm expecting to see like a lot of grand stuff. I'm expecting to see a lot of Mona Lisa influences, but I'm trying to remember who was on the chair with Beyonce and Venus Williams. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just liked it. Who is it? Okay, there you go. Nicole Kidman. I'm like, that girl stays booked and busy. And then of course we have, isn't our girl Anna Wintour on there? Maybe she isn't. I think Anna Wintour is a part of it. But in terms of the Institute Benefit Host Committee, we have Angela Bassett, Sabrina Carpenter, Doja Cat, Gwendolyn, Christy, Alex Kasani. Who else would we know? Lena Dunham, Paloma Elsewhere, Rebecca Hall, Lisa. I think she's like a part of the one group. And then Sam Smith, Tiana Taylor, that'll be good. Asia Wilson, who's a WNBA player. So that's kind of what it's giving. That is what it's giving. I'm excited to see Met Gala. That means we'll probably see Beyonce. That means her album is probably being announced in May, probably at the Met Gala. I'm expecting something very rock-esque for her look, and it's going to go with the thing. Everything is so calculating with Beyonce. That's why I freaking love her. Everything is so calculating with her. She only pops out when she has something coming up. And the reason she is doing the Met Gala, she never does the Met Gala, and the way it falls, and this would be the end to the trilogy of her albums, I'm expecting something grand from her. I'm expecting something grand from Tiana Taylor. She has become the Blake Lively of the Met Gala. Honestly, I'm just gonna say it. And yes, I'm super excited. Let's talk about some other interesting headlines before we move into reality TV. I don't understand what's happening with Ray J. Apparently there was like a swarm of cops called at his home for a domestic violence call. I don't know what's going on there. But then also he had a performance with super bloody eyes and a heart monitor. And we do know he only has apparently like a year left to live. So I don't know. I just hope everything is okay. But according to TMZ, this happened on Saturday. There was a phone call made around 2 a.m. for battery domestic violence report at the residence. The alleged suspect was an ex-partner, a 30-year-old Persian female wearing yellow. So I'm wondering if it's the one girl, what was it called? Love Cabin on Zeus, who is Persian. I'm wondering if it's her because I'm hearing that they were dating after the show. I stopped watching that show. The show was like terrible. But I'm wondering if it was her. And like, I don't know. I hope Ray J is doing okay. I don't know. They said he was performing with the bloody eyes. And he just seems, honestly, you guys, a mess. And I just think he really needs to seek shelter and solitude. And if you only have a year left, I would just want a peace of mind more than anything. And it just seems like he's all over the place. Very unfortunate. Other news, we have Hilary Duff. So Hilary Duff basically confirmed that her and her sister are on the outs. A lot of people have been saying a lot of suspicion for a while that their political views were not aligning. And as we know, Hilary Duff is in her pop girl era stage again. Hilary Duff is one of my favorite white girls from Disney, period. Disney Channel, period. Like, the way her career has blossomed after Disney, like I loved her in Cheaper by the Dozen, even though her role was very minimal. Cinderella Story. What is that other movie I love from her? No, Younger. I love Younger. If you guys have not watched Younger, if you need a good binge on Netflix, if you're like, you watch Sex and the City, you watch Girlfriends, or maybe you haven't watched Girlfriends, I always say Girlfriends is the Black version of Sex and the City, right? Because there's like 4 homegirls based in California, in their 30s navigating these romance and friendships, finance situations, whereas we have, Sex in the City based in Manhattan, New York City, these four girlfriends. And I really do think Girlfriend was built on the premise of Sex in the City. It was supposed to be like, this is what it's like for our West Coast sisters, you know what I mean? But if you need another show, like if you're kind of like into that, like not coming to age, but like, young adult, I love Younger, and Hilary Duff is on there, and that is like one of the best shows ever. Like, I do genuinely enjoy that. So we do know she has a sister. Her sister name is Haley Duff. They haven't So people questioned what was going on in their relationship. I like to stay in my Black-owned business, but I was like, let me see what's going on over there. So essentially, Hilary Duff has been rolling out a new album, everything, she's been on tour, and we're just shocked that it's been very quiet from Haley Duff. However, we do know Hilary Duff is very progressive, very liberal in her views, and there has been receipts that Haley Duff has not, and maybe that was the friction in their relationship. So Hilary Duff is now confirming from her newest track on her album, Luck or Something, that the song called We Don't Talk is indeed about her sister. So she says, it's definitely about my sister. Just absolutely the most lonely part of my existence is not having my sister in my life at the moment. Really struggle with thinking about including that on the record, but it's funny as a person that exists in the world without my other half, so many people are having that experience, She said, it's my truth. It's hard because I am me and people know everything about my life since I was a child, and I didn't necessarily choose that part, but it's my reality. And so it was honestly healing to say it's hard to watch your life unfold on the internet sometimes. All of that is just crazy thing to process. She said it is an emotional eviction and how suddenly a relationship can basically change. So yeah, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Let me see to how we were as kids. So sick of being so sad about how we don't talk and you won't talk about it. So she says she hopes that they can hash it out, but I don't. And then when asked whether she hopes Haley listens to the song, she said, I don't think that would help. I think I have to just exist as a person on my own and do what I want to do. It's taken me a lot of time to get here and to live that way and to not care about what the noise is, going to be around it and just be me. I don't know. I don't know if she'll hear it. I don't know if she'll react to it, but it is a really personal part of my life that doesn't get to stay personal. So might as well say how it is for me as an experience. So there you have it. A lot of people were they had growing suspicions that the two did not talk, and she did not give a reason. Like I said, you can go on any blog, you can go on any Reddit forum, and you can see that the political views are clearly misaligned. And I do think a lot of families at this point are finding themselves at crossroads. I know some people in my family are aligned shockingly with an opposing view, and I don't align with them. So, I mean, what did Queen Charlotte say? Sorrows, prayers. VPR. I'm not talking about VPR. This is the reboot. However, I may be talking about VPR, the reboot. I may be recapping that in the near future, especially as I think Atlanta's coming on soon, probably in April though. Potomac's going off. Married2Med is still on, but we don't really have anything to really recap besides that. I mean, Love Island USA is off. I mean, I guess I'll start recapping Summer House as well. I caught a clip of VPR, and it was the most strange clip ever. It was of this guy and his cousin getting ready to film their OnlyFans content. I know this has been the latest. I actually caught the one guy with the brows on Watch Happens Live with Carl Rack from Summer House, who honestly, guys, looked really good. I was like, Carl, in my kidding voice, you kind of fine. Not my type, but Carl looked good. He looked healthy. He looked clean. He looked very different. He looked really good on Watch Happens Live. Basically, the cousin was on there talking about the OnlyFans. So I was kind of like, are they really doing OnlyFans with the cousins now? Dang, this is definitely Gen Alpha. This is not Gen Z, right? And then I was doing something and it was on in the background in the scene with his cousin, and they were talking about how they got to this point, how they moved out to LA and they had to hustle or whatever, and how they just started doing the OnlyFans stuff. So I got a clip of that, and then it went into this scene of this man getting ready for this date. This girl was coming over, and then he got the girl, his next date, literally texted him saying she's outside, and he's literally escorting the girl he's on a date with at his crib out, and then he's welcoming in the new girl, and they're making out on the couch. It was the most bizarre thing ever. He was just like, okay, like, and he was so upfront about it. He was like, yeah, my other date's here. And he just like let the girl leave, and then she was fine with it. So I'm like, what is going on in VPR? I might have to, watch it, especially since it's already been renewed, which is honestly shocking because I'm hearing the ratings weren't much better than Candy and the Gang. Do you guys remember Candy and the Gang? And Summer House Martha's Vineyard. What's that about, Bravo? I'm not gonna lie, Summer House Martha's Vineyard, it was they needed a different cast. They needed different people. But I mean, they did get a second season, so I mean, at least they got that. VPR did get renewed, so that's the latest news. Speaking of Bravo Universe, before we get into some TV, Eva Marcel has a weed line, and if it makes sense for any two people in Bravo to have a weed line, it's probably Gigi Gonessa and Eva Marcel. So she does have a new weed line. I think it's called Hello Sunshine or something. What is it called? It's called Sunflower by Eva. And then if you guys remember when she was pregnant on the show, who threw her a baby shower? Somebody threw her a baby shower, and it was a sunflower themed baby shower. So she's really into the sunflowers. This is her Instagram caption. She said, "There's a moment when it clicks, when you find the strain that meets you exactly where you are, when your shoulders soften, when your thoughts quiet, when that smile comes without you even trying." That's the progression. That's the progression of happiness I'm always chasing. Not something loud, not something forced, just alignment. Cannabis is personal. It's about discovering what lifts you gently, what inspires you creatively, what grounds you when the world feels heavy. The right strain doesn't change who you are, it reveals you. Sunflower by Eva is about that journey, exploring feeling. Listening to your body, honoring your mood. And when you find the one, it's kind of like a love story to cannabis, because your face tells a story before you ever have to say a word. Fired your smile. So yes, and she looks really good. Eva Marcel looks really good. Her acting career has been jumping off. She was actually on Good Morning America answering some questions about America's Next Top Model, and she says she has nothing but the utmost respect for Tyra Banks. They were trying to rope her into a dirty question. She's like, hey, Miss Tyra Banks in America's Next Top Model did me well. I'm actually doing my rewatch. If you guys haven't listened, make sure you guys listen to What's the Reality on America's Next Top Model Part 1. I have not watched the documentary yet. I'll probably watch it this upcoming week for me to put it out. But like I said, I'm going on vacation next week. So Part 2 won't be out until the following week. The following Friday when I'm back to regular programming. You guys will know when I put it out. But I haven't watched the documentary yet. I'm trying to let it die off the social media, and then honestly, I'm rewatching it right now and I'm on cycle 6. Yeah, some of the stuff they were doing, I talk about this, but also I just think everyone is guilty of being involved in a toxic work environment there. I don't think it's just Tyra, and I think it's pretty lame that they're trying to put this all on Tyra. I think it's kind of crazy that Mr. J or Mrs. J is now having a GoFundMe. Just as it's crazy to me, guys, that Eric Dane's family now has a GoFundMe for the family. And I'm just like, what is up with celebrities putting up GoFundMes? I thought the point of a GoFundMe was for the less fortunate. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. That's a weird thing that's going on right now. But yeah, Eva Marcel, cannabis line. You know who else would do a good one? Gigi. I mean, girl. But she would get high off her own supply. So I don't know if that's a good idea. Stacey doing cannabis, if we're going to talk about Potomac soon, we're going to lead into that. Stacey doing cannabis makes no sense to me at all. She should do like etiquette classes. Like, you remember Cynthia Bailey, like the School of Bailey, that Bailey agency? She had modeling. I think Stacey should do like, I don't know, etiquette classes or something. I just don't think cannabis made any sense at all to me when it came to Stacey. Or I said she should have did breath mints, because I do feel like that would have so like, let's get back to doing things that make sense for our brand. I still don't know to this day, though I do have a TikTok. I am ragging on Brittany Cartwright from the Valley. That's also coming back on very soon. I am ragging on her. I'm actually really excited about Rhode Island. Y'all thought I was about to say the Valley. I'm not excited about that. The Valley Persian style finale comes out this week. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was only 9 episodes and they're not getting a reunion, which I just find is crazy, but VPR is getting one. Whatever. Even though I ragged on Brittany Cartwright in one of my TikTok videos, it got a couple of views. So it's a possibility she saw it. Because I just don't think she's innocent. But though I am talking crap about her, I will say her opening a bar, or like, I think there was a floating idea like, oh, I'm going to do Britt's bar. Then like, what is up with everyone in the Valley wanting to open up a bar? I said, Brittany, if I were you, I would open up a hair extension line, because honey, at the end of the day, they can say what they want about your body. They can say what they want about your breasts. They can say what they want about your accent. Your hair is gorgeous, and you need to capitalize over the fact that you know hair, especially hair through pregnancy, postpartum. Like, her hair has maintained that same thickness, fullness, that shine, and then she highlights it too. So it's like, it still looks relatively very healthy. I don't understand why she doesn't have a hair extension line. I'm like, I definitely would be interested in extensions by Brett, like extended by Brett. Brittany, don't say I didn't help you with anything. Like, honestly, all the Bravo people want to go into bars. They want to go into weed now. I'm like, it made no sense for me for literally Stacey to get into that. But I digress. I don't know what's happening in our city of Miami. We do know none of the ladies were selected for the Ultimate Girls Trip lineup. There are rumors circulating that Real Housewives of Miami is not returning. I think this past season with the whole Gertie. We definitely know Gertie and Julia are not returning. They were not invited to any of the Ultimate Girls Trip events in Miami and in general. Whereas Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, and Adriana and Lisa were all in attendance. Even Kiki was in attendance, which is basically the whole cast except for Gertie and Julia. But I'm hearing that it's a long time right now. I don't understand why Adriana is not a full-time housewife. I just don't understand why she's not one. And then, yeah, if Marisol wants to be one, might as well add her to the mix already. I just don't understand what's taking so long with Miami, but because they haven't even started filming yet. That's my thing. Like, they haven't even started filming yet. So I don't know what's happening with Miami. Let's get into the Real Housewives of Potomac. So we picked up on part 2, obviously in part 1, we kind of addressed the Wendy of it all. It looks like part 3, when Karen sits down, we're really going to talk about Wendy and like the road ahead she has. The only thing I want to say with Karen is like, Karen, what is the drama with Wendy? I think it's a little delusional. Like, if anything, you're the one that was talking crap about Wendy and it got back to Wendy. But I don't understand all this heat she has for Wendy. That's one thing I cannot get behind. But we left off on part 1, obviously, with, who was arguing? I don't even know who was arguing. Part 2, I would say it was okay. A lot of semantics, and what else did we talk about? We just talked about Kay and Greg's relationship, which I'm kind of like, we had Monique come on, Ashley addressed if she made out with Sharice's man or not. And then we talked about Tia and Stacey's relationship, which, if I'm being so completely honest, you guys, that is one storyline I really do not care about. That is one thing I really do not care about. So we left off, that's where we left off, with Andy saying, we got a lot of questions, Ashley, this season, saying that you are just messy. You are messier than you've ever been. And I thought Ashley offered a very interesting perspective. And she was essentially like, what I have to realize, that this is a different group than what me and Giselle are used to, because Giselle even backed her up. She was like, this is a very sensitive group. Back then, Karen would say, any and everything, and you just gotta let it roll off your tongue. Like she said, it was a lot more like we would read you guys, but we would read each other, but then we would get over it. And I will say I agree with that, because the stuff they were saying, and then they would be fine, they would talk it out and they'd be fine the next episode. It's like you just like you fight and you tussle and you now the state of housewives, I would argue in general, like you are dragging that stuff for episodes, like episodes. And I will actually agree with Ashley on that. It is kind of like we still talking about this, and it's like, why are we still talking about this, right? So she said just like it's a new group dynamic. Kay felt like that was rude to say. I'm not a fan of Kay. I think she's aggressive AF, and we'll get into that. I talked about that on my TikTok as well. I think she's an aggressive person, and she comes off aggressive, and now she's upset that Stacey's purporting this narrative when it's like there's nothing to purport. It's all there, right? So she's like, what's different with this group? How are you not satisfied with this group? That's like, girl, nobody is talking about you. Like, pipe down. Ashley and Wendy go back and forth, and Wendy does not buy Ashley's apology. I mean, would you? You're bringing up stuff from season 5. Clearly, you do have a vendetta against me. And then it's revealed that Stacey did tell Wendy that, you know, Ashley essentially does not feel bad about the situation she's in. And she's kind of like, you know, but you guys know I do not care for no Ashley Darby. But in defense of Ashley Darby, it's kind of like when the text messages I saw, it was like Stacey said, I am like shaking. I'm so upset over Wendy's arrest. Like, are you upset? And then Ashley said yes and no. Like, honestly. And Ashley, in Ashley's defense, when she's sitting there, she said, it doesn't affect me it's sad, obviously, for the children that Wendy and Eddie are in this situation, but it doesn't keep me up at night knowing that you did something illegal. I mean, so I don't know what Stacey was trying to do there with the gotcha moment. It's not like I'm saying, yes, this is a long time coming for Wendy and Eddie. I'm just saying, I mean, if they broke the law, they broke the law. You got to face the consequences, right? That's how it go. So, I don't know. I just felt like I personally wouldn't have offered an apology based on that excuse alone. So I was actually with Ashley. But what we can't deny is that Ashley is very messy, but I also think it's because Ashley is a producer's pet and she's literally there to do a job. I think Ashley is so used to, you know, being in the spotlight. You know, she had that stuff going on with Michael Darby for the first, 5-6 seasons. That was a big part of her storyline. That weird relationship, him cheating on her. She was always in the spotlight. She has, as much as we do rag on Ashley, myself included, myself included, Ashley has brought a lot to the show. And I think Ashley is now in a place now where she's like, I can afford to be a little messy because there's actually nothing going on in my life. There's nothing that's going to come and bite me kind of in the butt. So I don't know. Ashley also addresses whether she and Charisse's son hooked up. She says they didn't. However, she did allude to it on Watch Women's Live that they did do more, that there was more to a kiss. And she also alluded to it with Charisse. And I'm not going to lie, I'm with Ashley again, as much as she annoys me. Ashley said when she told Charisse she was expecting a bigger reaction, when she saw there wasn't a reaction, but there's been such a reaction now after seeing it play out in front of cameras and seeing the public perception, she's just kind of like, Charisse, what are you doing? When it's like, I was expecting you to react this way all along, but you didn't, so I just assumed everything was okay. Now you're seeing how the audience is reacting and you possibly pimping out your son. Now you want to have a grand reaction. Now you're going on the Sherry Shepherd show, you're going on Carlos King, and now you're literally saying how much of a bad person I am when it's like, I already told you this happened, right? But Ashley is also saying apparently Charisse was someone that was trying to set up her son with Ashley. So I don't know. I don't really fall on Ashley's side often, but I will say she kind of was right in some of her instances in the first part of the reunion. Then we get into an Ashley segment and I really just like fall asleep. Like, it's just like, that's when I log on to get my steps on. Because I'm like, I really do not care about what's happening in Ashley's home life, family life. And I really don't care. She was so offended when Andy referred to her stepdad as her stepdad. She was like, that's not okay. But moving on, I thought it was interesting how Andy brings up Ashley dating a political figure, and Giselle basically rats on herself, and she's like, oh, I thought that was directed towards me. So basically, this just confirms that Ashley and Giselle are both dating on the show. At least Giselle is, and we're not seeing it on the show. And it's kind of annoying. I can understand a political figure, though. I guess she was dating a congressman. I can understand him not wanting to be on the show, just like when Dr. Wendy was hosting the Freakness or whatever, the Preakness for the first lady of Baltimore, of DC. I don't know what it was. She was hosting that, and she didn't want to be on. She was blurred out. I can understand Giselle's man keeping a low radar, not wanting to be on the show. But it's just interesting to me how we never really know what's going on in Giselle's life. And I thought it was interesting that Kay brought it up. She's like, why do you have such an amazing dating life and we don't see it? Because now we know you've dated an NFL player, at least a retired NFL player. And then also now we know about a congressman. And I just think the line's always moving. It's like the standards are always moving when it comes to who's on the show. We hold Giselle in this high regard as someone that brings so much to the show, when it's like, a girl, I will maintain this. I don't think Giselle brings nearly as much to the show besides a pretty face. And even that fades. Looks fade, clearly. Because Giselle, oh my gosh. It gets embarrassing. We get to Kay's package, and it seems as though, when it leaves off on the picture frame, it seems as though Kay is super excited to reveal something, because we're kind of just like ragging on the fact that he did get the picture frame from the jewelry store. So we were just assuming if it wasn't a ring, it was going to be jewelry, right? Kay is so corny. She lifts up her pillow and she brings out the picture frame. And it's not even a picture of them. It is a note. There is a note on the picture frame. It fell flat. And I'm just like, hey, this is literally what you're holding on to. I don't know. I know the pickings are slim in the DMV. That's what I'm hearing. At least for younger crowds. I didn't know it was slim for, someone like, I don't know. I know the dating scene in the DMV, at least for my age, is very scary. It's like a ratio 1 to 10 men to women. Like, it's insane the amount of single women there are in the DMV versus the men. How many of them are two-timing the girls? Like, I know that for a fact. But I just thought, it gets better as you get older, especially when you're dating those congressmen, those people of and Kay got a lot going on. She has businesses. She's an entrepreneur. She's a smart woman. She's a gorgeous woman. So I am shocked that she's holding on to this one. I am shocked she's holding on to this one. But it did fall awfully flat. And Angel was trying to defend her friend. She was like, because they were like, a viewer's question was essentially saying it's giving sugar baby. Like, are you okay with it not making it to marriage? And then Angel was like, my friend would never be a sugar baby. And then, Kay kind of cuts her off. She's like, I can talk for myself. And I'm just like, I don't like Kay. And I know exactly what Chanel Ayan meant when she said that about Kay. There's something about Kay I don't like. She's very quick to dismiss her friend. She's really quick to perform and look around at Giselle at the couches, especially when she's arguing with Jossie. Like, she's trying to really land her argument with everyone except for the person she's arguing with. I think it's really weird. And then we get into what is Kay's issue with Stacey. And Kay said her issue is that Stacey is purporting her to be this aggressive Black woman. And I would say this would work if you were in Beverly Hills, even Miami. However, everyone on that, well, I guess I can't say that. However, angry Black woman, you can't really use that against Stacey because Stacey is not light skinned. I mean, yes, Stacey is lighter than you, but I don't think I don't think Stacey is a like. I just don't think it's fair for Kay to be offended that Stacey feels threatened by her, and then for Stacey or Kay to use it kind of like you're purporting me as this angry black narrative when it's like, girl, call it what you want. At the end of the day, you was angry and you are a black woman. Like, okay, you are angry and you are a woman, period. Kay, you come off aggressive AF. And I've talked about this on my TikTok. She was really upset because she's saying this is what's not happening, right? And I'm just like, girl, you can be upset all you want, but you are coming off you're coming off very angry. She's coming off very angry. We still don't understand the issue you have with Stacey. She still didn't do a good job at explaining it. And it's like, besides all of that, what is the issue with Stacey? Is that she's outperforming you. You both were brought on the same season and she's a fan favorite. Let's talk about it. That is why she doesn't like Stacey. Okay? Jossie comes on. Jossie brings up that Kay actually stole Greg from his wife. Andy kind of skimmed over that, but it was very like performative, both of them. I personally like Jossie, but I do feel like she did fall flat this season or this reunion. And I do think Tia clocked her, unfortunately, saying you are a friend to no one. Because you started off being friends with all of them, and now it's been revealed she's been recording the girls on some Brittany Bateman stuff. Tia's also saying that Darius ain't had no money and had to take out $150K, which I feel like, does that mean you don't have any money? If you got to take out that much to pay for XYZ? I don't know. That fell flat for me, but I will say Tia did check her with the, you came on as a friend to everyone and you're leaving as a friend to no one. You failed your job. I was like, but the gag is I can do without Tia as well. But let's get back to what Andy did not, stay at for a little bit because, Jossie came on, guns a-blazing, and let's not forget what led up to that, right? Kay has saw Jossie the day before and did not acknowledge her. So she said she didn't know who she was and she was trying to be slick with it. She's like, I didn't know who you were. I didn't recognize you. And he's like, well, it seems like you did recognize her. Kay is so cringe to me, guys. Like, and then Tia's basically like, but you did recognize that you stole Greg from his wife, right? So because that wasn't addressed, I think Kay was hoping that was going to be addressed. It wasn't addressed. So she goes to Instagram. And I tell you what, this is what Kay loves to do. She either loves to get on Instagram Live, Instagram Stories, or Threads. Typically Instagram Live. And she likes to address it when it's kind of like, girl, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. Was that some tea? Yes. So she said the allegations from tonight's episode crossed the line and warrants a response. For clarity, I met Greg during CIAA weekend in 2022. His divorce had already been finalized. That timeline is factual and verifiable. There was no overlap. We take the protection of our family seriously. False claims that impact... Okay. This is written terribly because I'm like reading like freaking robot. We take the protection of our family seriously. False claims that impact our family, especially where children are concerned, are unacceptable and have consequences. Reality television invites commentary. It does not justify misinformation or fabricated narratives. Repeating a claim does not make it true. Facts do not change to fit storylines. I will not engage in performative conflict. I will address misinformation directly. I am not a bench you can ride. The record is clear. Well, that's that. Moving on, because to be honest, Kay and Jossie did a lot for me. I personally want to see Jossie though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just like Jossie. I just prefer her. So then Tia and Jossie go back and forth about the fork scene. I think Jossie should have just admitted she did overreact because I don't think Tia was trying to insinuate anything for you to leave Darius for this man with, as Kay famously said, 2 teeth and 2 dreads. Like, girl, it wasn't that deep. But I think Jossie is in this working overload. Like, she is trying to get a flute. Unfortunately for her, it's been revealed that she's been recording the ladies. Wendy confirmed it, and I feel like because Wendy confirmed it, Kay confirmed it. I don't even think her and Jossie talk on the phone, but whatever. Or maybe they do, and that's when, Jossie was bringing on, like, the stuff she was saying about Wendy, whatever. All I know is, like, unfortunately for her, because Stacey has said this, Wendy now is saying, I have witnessed you recording. So I guess she'll get you to vent on the phone with her, and then she'll put you on speakerphone and she'll record the conversation. Whatever. I don't know what that's for. I want to see Jossie back, but I do admit her performance fell flat because she couldn't just cop to Tia that it was an overreaction. She didn't need to do that much. Clearly, Tia wasn't trying to disrespect your relationship 14 days before the marriage, or 11. I can't remember what she yelled. I just think it was a lot. So now we have Monique come on. And I was hoping once I saw her, outfit, her dress, her gown, that it would have had more movement, or I would have liked it better than the pictures. It looks terrible. She looks like a Power Ranger. That dress looks like I went to Michael stores, Michael's Joanne Fabrics, and I made that myself and entered that into a costume design set for some play. Like, I don't know who told her that was the look. It wasn't giving. And I saw someone argue on social media, like, now if that was Erica Jane, you guys would be loving it. No, the triangle looks cheap AF. That looks like somebody literally went to the fabric store, cut out a triangle, sewed on the red fabric, and just plopped it on her back like a backpack. Erica Jane couldn't have rocked it. Dorit Kemsley couldn't have rocked it. Monique Samuels can't rock it. You know what also can't rock is the fact that Monique can talk about Chris. Chris Samuels did give her a cease and desist literally a day before the reunion tape. So he knew the taping was coming up. He was like, you're not about to be talking about our relationship. You can't talk about me. So she's not really talking about him, just besides the fact that when she was in that relationship, she could tell she didn't love herself, which is really sad because she said, I think former relationships are a testament to how much you love yourself. And it's clear I did not love myself in that past relationship. She also talks about her comments in regards to Angel. And what I will say about Angel and Bobby is very real. And I don't think you can expect any man to react perfectly. We like to hold Bobby to the cross. We loved when Ken stood up for LVP and was not messing with them heifers. We love when PK would make a snide Carmen or Mauricio, even though he would try to be like nice. Like, we like it kind of when the husbands are on the girls' sides, because that's how a husband should be and not being fake. Bobby is not fake. So Monique says that he was being rude when she said hi to him, and she was like, clearly had a problem because he didn't say hi back. And she's like, you can't be mad at that because clearly had an issue with the fact that you're purporting these narratives that him and Chris Samuels are similar. And he said that Bobby was just shocked that was coming from you. And I think it's a lot that Monique was basically like, hey, I wasn't talking about basically your relationship specifically, but I was talking about just men in NFL, and then seeing you hosting and seeing everything get pushed on to you. But Tia and Stacey were both like, when we were staying in the house, Bobby was doing a lot, essentially. So, like, I don't think it's that vibe. I think the ladies just don't like to see a woman happy in Potomac. They really don't. Do I think Bobby's been a little cold sometimes? Yes, but you also have to think about it, like, he's rocking with his woman. I don't know. We'll see. I think Angel's coming back. I think she should come back. I think Potomac's definitely getting a shakeup as Karen returns to the throne, but I do think Angel will be back. I'm hoping she's back, so I'm hoping we can see like her relationship more, and I'm hoping Bobby's not too upset about the portrayal of his and hers relationship, and he doesn't get too sour, because I do like Bobby, but I do enjoy Bobby. It's also revealed that Monique was actually asked for Real Housewives: The Ultimate Girls Trip season 2. That was the best season for me when they went to the Berkshires, and that's actually what started my Roni binge in 2024, I believe. Because I was like, let me watch. Like, I know about Dorinda, but let me watch, and that's when I fell in love with it. And I feel like I gotta watch it again to see her and Jelle's dynamic, but Andy said she was pretty adamant on not like being a part of it because that was the ex-wives club, and she just said she was still upset with like production cast and like everything, and she wasn't in a place, and now she's definitely in a different place. And then we kind of end up on a huge receipt that apparently she has of Stacey and Chris Samuels possibly dating. But I have a feeling this receipt will fall flat, but I don't know because she said they can't even air it. And from the looks of the conclusion, Wendy's not even making eye contact with Stacey because she's like, girl, you just need to fess up to it or whatever. So I don't know. We're going to conclude with that Potomac recap. I thought it was a solid, episode. What I did find interesting with the whole Monique segment coming on is that she said that Angel had pulled her to the side, like asking for advice. And she said, like, hopefully you can offer me some advice, since you did come like dating in the NFL or whatever, And she said Monique said they never got a chance to have that conversation before hosting her trip. And when she saw she was kind of like doing everything. And so she didn't know if it had something to do with like, just feeling like she had to be Superwoman all the time. But it probably didn't even have to do with any of that. I do think Monique was projecting. I don't think it's fair at all to be like, hey, I don't think it's fair at all to compare her terrible relationship with Chris Samuels to Bobby, because I think we even saw like snippets of Chris Samuels kind of like just being disrespectful. I don't think we see any hints of that with Bobby and Angel, at least towards each other. Like, is he disrespectful towards the women? That's a different story. But I thought that was interesting. Let's move on to Married to Medicine. I did watch Women's Live with Dr. Mimi and Candy on. And I think perhaps like the biggest thing of Married to Medicine is that Toya is now in this position of hosting the Met Gala. And now she's expecting the ladies to basically overextend for it and help out when she hasn't done anything in the past. And now we're seeing kind of Jackie pull Heavenly to the side and say, we're going to need your assistant and all the other doctors. But before that, the ladies, we're doing the couples trip, okay? The infamous couples trip, because it is infamous. There's always something going down. And what I find really interesting and vulnerable is that Dr. Simone and Cecil recognize that they're in no position to be hosting a couples trip, because they're in no position to be giving couples advice because they're not feeling very coupley right now. So they pass the baton to Toya and Eugene. And I think Dr. Mimi was upset about that, because she's like, I think if anything, I'm the perfect example of a relationship. Now, what we'll say about Dr. Mimi is like she does get a little preachy, so I understand what people mean, but I still like her. But she can come off very like, I'm up here, you're down here, because she's a psychologist or whatever. I feel like she can come off very preachy and very like nursing her friends or like pretending her friends are her patients. So sometimes her stuff, I just be like, girl, can I not get a doctor's answer all the time? A morally correct answer. But I still like Dr. Mimi, and I do like her husband Steve. I do like their relationship. So I think that's the biggest thing, is like maybe Cecil and Simone are actually in a more terrible place than what we all thought they were. A lot of ladies are not looking forward to Toya and Eugene hosting. To my surprise, Eugene's actually the messy one. He's saying there needs to be a rule that if you guys are not trying to participate in our couple stuff, you guys should go to your room and have a cool off, right? And just not be involved in the group. So it's actually interesting because we do know Quad. So Quad and King are admitting that there is some friction going on in the relationship, possibly because of the hormones, the IVF process. It's been a lot. So they're hoping to go there and, get that spark back. And it seems as though it helps, besides Quad taking forever to do her hair for the kids. But I just have to point out that Dr. Contessa fell asleep during Angel's viewing, which Candy Burst was actually there. It was for Angel's viewing of her movie. And Candy said the movie was actually really good. And I just had to crack up at Dr. Contessa literally snoring. And Simone's like, I don't know why she's tired. She's not on call for hospital. And yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. And then she like wakes up and she's like, oh my gosh, you were amazing. Like, I loved it. And it's like, girl, you were asleep the whole time. But I definitely think Dr. Contessa has been funny this season, from her whole blow up with her 50th birthday party to whatever. She has been hilarious this season. The falling asleep and then like whatever. Let's point out this: they're the people, they're arriving at the couples trip. Curtis is in Canada, and the way Dr. Jackie says is like he's in Canada supposedly doing business. I don't know how you're golfing and doing business, but that's why he was behind. Eventually he didn't make it. I guess there is actual receipts of him being there. So whatever, but I just thought it was hilarious that oh, I'm like, what is this? I just thought it was hilarious that Toya was like, "Where's your husband this time? Like, what's going on now? Why isn't he here?" So yeah, I don't know. This was just like the first kickoff for the episode. Like they end up going out, a lot of different stuff. Like they're arriving in Jamaica. King is actually from Jamaica, so they actually arrange their, you know, I can't think of the event that they do, but they always do this like their travel mission, you know, giving back to the kids, like, you know, to less fortunate, and, you know, schooling the kids. You know, you can be whatever you want to be. They had Steve talk about being like a former NFL player. They got, you know, the doctors. It's all got King talking about being an entrepreneur, and we get to see some of King's family too, because he was actually raised in Jamaica until he was like 10 years old, until he was brought over to the States. So he has a lot of connections there. Some of the people, they go out, they have a good time. And I think it's really interesting. The people that go out is Eugene, Toya, Dr. Simone, Cecil, Quad, and King, and then Dr. Brandy, and they had a good time, you know? And this is a whole different mix of people going out together. But it looks like we're getting kind of sneak peeks into what's going to happen the next episode. You know, their infamous bonfire fights, like over dinner and stuff, and it's going to be a continuation from the travel mission of them going to dinner, and it's going to be coupley stuff. And it looks like Angel's boo arrives, and I don't think Angel knows he's arriving, so I don't know how that was set up. But the next episode looks like some stuff is going to pop off. I forgot to talk about, it looks like Cecil is finally putting his foot down when it comes to his sons, and he has communicated with them that Simone is at her wit's end of feeling this way, like basically a bank. And it looks like her kids are trying to get their act together, so maybe that's good. I still think Simone secretly wants a divorce. I really do. I think she wants a divorce, you guys. I really do. Let's move on to that Watch Happens Live. Watch Happens Live, Candy Burris was on, and I was really excited to watch. But I'll tell you what, guys, nothing really juicy came from it. Candy Burris has just basically, or maybe she's just playing it very nice, clean. You know, anything she can say can be used against her in court for this whole divorce proceedings. But she says she does have faith that, you know, once they make it out of this divorce, they will be on good terms again, and they will be moving in a better path. They will be friends again. In terms of what happened, which I'm pretty sure she talked about, but Andy said, like, what really was the tipping scale of made you go, like, I'm not about to be in this relationship? And she said it was an incident in July. And I thought it was an incident over the summer, which I'm assuming is the same one, but she said she's not going to talk about it on Watch Happens Live. But I'm like, haven't you already talked about it in the press? I'm pretty sure he was texting other women. I think they've opened up their relationship in the past for like threesomes or whatever. But this time she did not know about this other person. And that's when she was kind of like, I'm not doing this. But what I took from that is that Candy says, like, that was the specific situation. She said that they just genuinely want to parent together. He did not ask about the whole recent of like being kicked out of the house, which I was interested in. Like, was he kicked out? Was he not kicked out? But he did ask about like not custody, but just about like how dirty it's getting. And she's saying it's really just the lawyers lawyering. I think they're trying their best to have it smoothly. And she said he wasn't saying that he didn't sign a prenup. He was saying he could contest or threaten that the prenup didn't go smoothly. And that was what the lawyer was saying if they didn't get on one thing. But she said they're agreeing on majority of the stuff. Another thing I thought was interesting, because I said like Dr. Mimi was on there, in terms of like what went wrong between her and Toya. Like what went wrong. She said because they were on good terms last season. And she says she doesn't know what went wrong. All I know is what you guys are seeing. And so she was also saying, I did not know me and Toya had an issue either until playing out this season in like the sneak digs and stuff. Because I was like, what happened? Because I could have sworn Toya brought you on last season. And now it seems like all of a sudden there's issues between you and Toya. So she said she's not aware of the issues, but she understands that there are issues. And yeah, there are issues. Before we close it out and I go on vacay, I have work the rest of the week, but I leave Friday. And like I said, I won't be back till Tuesday. So yeah, I won't be back until like Monday midnight, basically. So I took off Tuesday. And yes, I'm looking forward to. And I have some appointments actually Tuesday. So it's like I still won't even really be off. I have things to do on Tuesdays. That's why I'm like, there's no way I can get an episode to you guys, especially coming back Monday at midnight. But yeah, I'm just going to take off next week. Summer House. What we're seeing is literally an example of a woman being mentally checked out and a man physically realizing it. He may not mentally be checked out, but he's starting to realize physically in real time, my wife is different. That is what we're seeing between Amanda and Kyle. I think this season, if anything, is more prevalent that Amanda is just sick of his shit. She is sick of dealing with it. I'm going to talk more about that on my TikTok because I'm interested in this next episode coming out. But that is what we're seeing. There was an extended cut of their conversation, and he says they lack intimacy, chemistry, and compatibility, which I do think is true. I think they've lacked it for a while. But that's literally what we're seeing play out on Summer House. Let me know you guys' thoughts on that. Like I said, I'm going to be on TikTok this week with a couple of videos on Summer House. I'm going to talk about Summer House. I was going to say, am I talking about Potomac? I don't know if there's anything I really want to talk about Potomac, honestly. But I am going to talk about Summer House on my TikTok once I see this next episode. I genuinely think it's a case of, like, dang, my wife is over me. What do I do now? Love Island, All Stars, Wrapped, Sunday. There is this new show on Netflix. It's called Inside UK or whatever. And India is going to be on there. And we're going to I could have totally butchered that, you guys. But India and Dami, I talked about that on one of my episodes. You know, she apparently cheated on him. Yikes. But she's going to be on this new Netflix reality show with the guy she ended up cheating on her man with. And we're kind of going to see their budding love story. So I'm looking forward to that. Love Island All-Stars is done, though. I don't know who won. I'm genuinely shocked with how many people like Lucinda. I don't like Lucinda, but I'm shocked with how many people dislike Belle. Right now, they're saying it's a lot. And I think with Belle, like initially I was on her side, but now I am kind of like, okay, well, girl, it's not like you and Tommy were closed off. I think she just hates the fact it's like as soon as she goes off, it's like this man does this to her again. But this is what happens when you give someone that's like not lower than you. I'll never say anyone's lower than me, right? But when you give the loser a chance, the loser is going to lose, right? And the loser is always going to be you, because it's like, why are you giving someone that you're totally out of their range? I'm sorry, Belle. Like, you wouldn't even date Sean on the real world. You were being vulnerable. Not even vulnerable. You were having, I don't know. I just don't think she would ever date Sean in the real world. So I don't even know why she would give him a chance. I don't think Lucinda and Sean are going to make it. I don't know. That premiered. The Traders has been going on. I think we got one more episode left. RHOP could possibly take it, but finally the faithfuls are starting to piece together. Why did Candace give us that inkling? You know, she voted for him twice. But then I like Tara and Johnny, the Olympic hoes. But like, why get Natalie to open up to you about it possibly being RHOP for you guys, like, to literally throw her under the bus? Like, I don't know. And Tara is a mess. Like, you need to stand on your business. I love Maura Higgins. You know, I think there's a possibility RHOP will win. And hey, best credit to him. And I think we're getting the season finale. I think there's a high chance that Rob could win, but I don't know. It just depends. Or he could take all the money from Maura. Like, it really just depends. But I enjoyed Traders. I think we did get rid of a lot of strong personalities too early on, but let's not be confused. The drama is still dramaing. So I've been enjoying Traders, but yeah, that is for all the reality TV. I will see you guys in 2 weeks, which is crazy. Is it yeah, it's gonna be 2 weeks. I'll see you guys like March 10th, I think. That's when I'll see you. Well, thank you so much for listening. Until the next time, make sure you guys listen to What's the Reality on America's Next Top Model Part 1. Run it up. Make sure you guys leave a 5-star rating and a comment. And catch me on TikTok because I will be talking all my crap still on TikTok, though I might not be on the pod. Even next week, I will be on TikTok. So you want to dial in, find me on TikTok. And yes, I will see you guys later. Until the next time, bye.